MC Noble here, DJ Ash Noble. Let me see if I can sort this camera out just a fraction a little bit more. That's better. You can see better. So people, we are back live, and yes, that is correct. I have returned to the what people always used to call this the pink shed, and I haven't actually returned to the pink shed. So like I'm not back here like full time for good. I'm literally just visiting. So I thought, why don't I throw up a little live and do it from the pink shed, just like the old times. Now, for those of you who don't know, if you've not followed me, if you've not followed this channel, a big part of this channel was surrounded by this pink shed, or like pink and grey, whatever you want to call it. So it holds a hell of a lot of history, and there's like a good sort of story behind this shed. And we've had this shed hell of a long time, and it's just absolutely crazy to think that I can still sit in this shed. It's a little bit messy at the moment. It's been turned into the junk shed since I've sort of been away. It's become like home for nuts and seeds for the birds. I think my nan likes to feed the birds and stuff, so there's like bird food. There's still a few little bits and bobs of trace of some of my old music stuff. There's an example poster behind me, some vinyl records on the wall, some vinyl records in front of me, some vinyl record label sleeves. One of them's actually gone really discoloured, but we've got Rock Hard Recordings, Defected, Talking Loud, Tidy, Ministry of Sound, Nuclears, Cross Section Records. That's the one that's gone a bit discoloured. So yeah, we've got a good few little bits of memorabilia in here. So like I say, for those of you who don't know, this shed was like a big part of this channel when we first started. I think, well, when we first started the channel, I don't believe this shed was in the use of my music studio at that point, because I believe when I first started this channel, we were still like just dropping bars in my bedroom, and I even think back then on some of the very early ones I didn't even show my face on the camera, just because I wasn't really that sort of like confident enough to do so, I guess. But shortly after we started the channel, I think maybe even later that year, we did move into this shed, and we started doing some music things in here. But this shed has been a massive part of my life for years. And when I did move, I was very sort of gutted to be leaving this shed behind. When I did move, it was one of them sort of like gutting things, because I'd had so many sort of like good times in here, happy memories. It was like my escape place, and it was the one place I felt like I could just go, and it was my own little, almost like a den. It was almost like a kid having that extra bedroom, but just that extra area to go and sort of like, play as a kid and do your own sort of surrounding, my own things. So this shed it's been a fair few things over its time. There's quite a few times it has been like a storage place, just for, like storing old junk and stuff. But 9 times out of 10, it's been something that has been, for me, something that I've done. So it's been something, that I've had sort of in this shed, or something that usually benefits me. I think it would be round about 2006, maybe 2007, when we got this shed. And I remember it because we bought it because we was converting it into a bar. So basically, when we had like family parties, so if it was someone's birthday, if it was Christmas, if it was Halloween, we'd host like a little party out the back here, and this was a bar, It had a bar and everything in it. It actually looked really nice as well. It was really well done out, and you know, I'd really love to get my teeth back into this place and really do something. It's just a shame it's like 21 miles away from where I actually live. You know, I'd love to go back and really like make a good studio out of this place, because it always had that sort of like studio idea. You know, there was always there, it was always good as a studio. But where I live now, you just can't fit a shed in the yard, and to be honest, keeping equipment in a shed in the area where I live isn't always the best idea. There's always the sort of wrong type of people around. You know, thugs, thieves, people that are only out for themselves, and one thing I do hate about them type of people, like if they've got an issue or a grudge with an adult, like they don't give a toss, or they don't give a damn. Like if there's a kid in the house, or if there's like a young bairn, or if there's somebody that don't need to be involved, like if they're gonna go and put a window through, or they're gonna go and put a door through, like they're gonna go and put a door through. And it just saddens me that they don't think, hang on, it's now to do with the kid. Let's leave the kid out of it. But so like I don't know. Let's just say I was living with someone and they got into a bit of bother. They wouldn't think, it's got nothing to do with me. If I was there and I had music equipment, they'd see that as, well, we need payment. We'll take that. Even though it's got nothing to do with me, they'd involve me, and that's what annoys me about them kind of people. But back to the main point, if I could like just pick this shed up and take it to where I lived, I probably would, and it would be so nice to be able to redo this place and give it a really nice sort of clean up. The doors are absolutely grafted. It needs like an all new better locking system, and I know that the window in front of me there that opens, which you can't see, I know that struggles to open. Sometimes it gets a little bit jammed and stiff, and I know the windows are absolutely grafted as well. They need a damn good clean as well, and just absolutely crazy. Absolutely one of the most craziest things ever. But yeah, so we bought this shed, like I say, around 06, 07, and it was converted into a bar. We bought the shed brand new. Well, I actually saved up pocket money, pennies. It was, I wanted this like little shed in my own back garden, so I could have my own like little pub. We bought a bar and everything for it, and it was proper done out as a nice little bar. There was a dartboard in here, and it was like proper. It was a really nice. Little thing. There was like I say, we had a bar that sort of like was on a little bit of an angle, and sort of where I'm sat now, the bar would sort of be, and there was a little space behind it. We had like mirrors and shelves, and we had all like octaves and glasses in here, and it was a proper nice. We had nice little heating in here, and it was all done out really nice. And it's just a shame that it never, really stayed like that. But we did some other things with it as well. And a lot of people, I mean, 06, 07, when we started doing these like Christmas and Halloween parties, a lot of my like cousins and family members, there was a lot younger then. And then obviously as time come on, some of them turned 18. So then it was like, well, we can go to the real pub now. So then the parties just sort of died down. My nan and granddad got a bit older, so it was a bit, it was getting too much for them doing the parties, and they just sadly stopped happening, really. My parents split up, which was one thing as well, because they both used to come to them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm absolutely, now looking back, I'm so glad they did split up, but obviously at the time it was like, everything just seemed to be crumbling. But yeah, so literally, I think after it was a bar, I think it became so many different things. I mean, at one point it was going to be, have it as a little cafe. We had it as an ice cream parlour. I even turned it into a little pizza takeaway at one point, and put like we had a little oven in here, and we used to just like cook our own little pizzas and stuff when I had friends over. We used to buy our own little takeaway boxes just to put it in like it was a takeaway, and You know, we used to absolutely just really, you know, sort of like go wild with the imagination. It was a gaming den at one point. So we had a gaming den in here at one point where there was like a TV, a gaming chair, an Xbox. And then at one point when I was at college doing motorcycle maintenance, it became a little repair workshop for motorbikes. I had a little mini motor. I can't even remember what actually happened to that. I don't know if we just ended up scrapping it or selling it, but we bought it. It was a project. I was going to do it up, and then I was going to college, and the college course, it just wasn't really for me. And then I think after that was when it became into the music studio. So I used to store my bikes here. I had I had an Aprilia SR50R racing moped, which was quite a nippy fast thing. And I remember like loads of people used to like doubt me, and they used to take the piss and say, you know, I'm gonna be shit at riding it. I'm gonna struggle and come off. And yeah, I come off a couple of times, but you know, I ended up riding it, and I was there on the road, and they were still walking, and you know, they didn't like it. Then I moved up to a Honda NSR, which was just absolutely, that was a beast of a bike, and that topped out at about 100. It was just absolutely crazy. It was fantastic though. It was a really nice bike, and then sadly I had to get rid of it because I couldn't afford to run it. I'd just been done out of a job, and our family firm had gone bust, and you know, I'd also been ripped off by an insurance company, and at the time I just literally couldn't. There was just no way of me really ever seeing myself getting back to riding it. Whereas now might be a bit of a different story if I still had it. But at the end of the day, it's just one of them things, you know. It's just absolutely. I'd love to get a bike again, because it would be a really nice way of like being able to get about and ride about. You know, and you just sort of like, you haven't got that worry. Like, especially when I had my moped, it was like, you know, it was just my world. You know, I could bomb around, and it was my own little sort of like life. Do you know what I mean? So I loved it. It was my own little life, and you know, another good thing, you know, that would probably sort of be like a plus side if I had a bike now, whether it be like a 125 or whether it's just like a 50 ped again. It would be like the fact of like when you know, going to your mate's house and not sort of worrying about what time you've got to be back. You know what I mean by that is like bus times, like because sometimes you go on a Sunday, and buses are always different on a Sunday anyway, but they seem to always change. So one minute you go on a Sunday, and say about 7:30 you can get a number 2 back up to my end. Well, you do that one Sunday, and then you go the following Sunday, and then there's no number 2s after 6:30. And then you think, right, well, they must not be running anymore. And then another couple of weeks, and then there's a number 2 after 6:30 on a Sunday. And, you know, you get so confused with the bus times. You know, if you had your own little bike, you could just kind of like leave willingly when you want to leave, and you are sort of thinking like, right, there's you know, I don't need to see when I want to leave at 8, I'll leave at 8, you know. So yes, I rate your music. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm glad you do. It's going to be a good old year for music, trust me. We're only in January, well, February now actually. We've just come into February the 7th. But keep your eyes peeled, because there's going to be some good things coming this year, especially DJing wise. So if you do follow me for spitting bars and shit like that, which I know a lot of people do, and I know it guts a lot of people that I don't do it as much now, because people think I'm the bad boy G that spits bars, and when I don't spit bars, you know, they think like, oh, I wish you'd still spit bars. You know, people would rather like watch my freestyling video as opposed to watching me doing a mix on the decks. But you know, I'm into a bit of everything, but I am more pushing the DJing, but I am still doing the MCing, and I do still get a fair few MC bookings. So don't think that, you know, there's going to be no MCing, because there will be, just not as much as the DJing. Because I do push my DJing and my production a little bit more than the MCing, because that's just what I'm really into at the moment. There might be a time where I feel like I'm doing all right with DJing and I want to give the bars another push, and then I'll go back and, you know, do the bars. So, yes. Ah, wicked, bro. Thank you. So yeah. So I literally just thought I'd come live in this shed because it's been so long. I think it's been well over a year since I've well, it'd be nearly going on 2 years now since I've been live in the shed. I'm trying to think. 20 it was 2020 when I moved out of my grandparents' house. It was July time, so July 2021 was kind of like a year since I moved. It was like sort of like early to mid July when I moved. So this July would obviously be coming up 2 years since I moved, but it feels like forever. It feels like ages, and I feel like so settled where I am now, and so used to like, you know, so used to things. It's crazy. But it's been about a year and a half since I've literally filmed or done anything in the shed. So I just thought, while I'm here, I'm just visiting the grandparents until Wednesday. I thought, why don't I just come in here for the old time's sake, and why don't I just do some, you know, some old time sort of like live streaming here, just as kind of like a one-off, you know, the old shed, the ye old shed, you know, because I do get asked of people like, do I miss the shed? Where's the shed? When am I coming back in the shed? And you know, I am really coming back in the shed, but I just thought I'll do it as a one-off because, you know, I mean, if ever I moved back here, then yeah, I would convert this shed back to a studio in a heartbeat. If there was a reason why I had to move back here, which, you know, never say never. You know, you never know what can go on in your life, or if there's a reason why you have to move. But at the moment, I've got no desire to move back here. Nothing against this place. It's just where I am at the moment. I'm very happy. Like I've got friends that come and pick me up, and I've got friends that I go and visit. Whereas when I was living here, apart from me getting out to the pub on a weekend, there was nothing else really for me to do. And like, there was no friends that ever really bothered with me and said, hey, look, you know, come round for a coffee, or come round to my place, or, you know, do you fancy doing this sort of thing? You know, no one came and picked you up and took you for a drive, and, you know, no one sort of said, shall we go out for a bit and, you know, have a takeaway? And, you know, you were just kind of sat at home all the time. And then, like I said, the only time you'd ever see people was on a weekend when you go to the pub, which was just an excuse to drink. And then also, like, it got to the point where I was like asking if people was going to the pub. People were asking me, and in the end, I just thought, well, you know, what the hell am I doing? And then I started going to Hull, started visiting my mum a lot more and staying over, and I started meeting friends, and they was inviting me round to their house, and you know, at that time in my life, anything was better than like what I was going, you know, what I was going through at home, which was just sort of feeling alone, feeling isolated. I felt more like my friends on the PlayStation Network online were more friends to me than my actual real friends. Do you know what I mean? So then when I started going to Hull and going to these house parties and getting in with these friends, and, you know, making sort of these new connections, and my music was doing well, getting involved in the rave scene, if you like, it just really made sense for me to actually like to do it. Do you know what I mean? To like make that sort of change and move. It shocked a lot of people when I moved. I was the talk of the town. Oh, he's not going to last. He'll only last 2 weeks. You know, he won't last here long. You know, give it a few weeks and he'll be back. He won't manage in all big city like that. He'll get lost. You know, he won't know what he's doing. You know, it's a big move for him. A lot of people doubted me, and then here I am, 1.5 years later on, smashing venues most weekends. Lots of friends going round to visit people. getting my teeth into lots of projects, smashing out music, doing exactly what I wanted to do. You know, the stuff that's making me happy. So there you go. I'm from Hull. Would be good meeting you. Definitely, bro. I play in Hull. I play at a night called Stomping quite a lot. The next one in Hull is the 21st of May. So if you could get down to that, if you are old enough for nightclubs, get yourself down. There's also a organisation called Beats Bus. Sometimes they do like little open mic days where you know they put little events on. It's just open mic. You can just pop down, and so I sometimes pop down like now and again and just like have a little go on the mic and just go and see like people from the Beats Bus. The sound people. So if ever you want to come to one of them as well, just keep an eye out. They're just like during the day, sort of like free things, and you don't have to be over 18. You can just pop down to them, and they sometimes put little events on that just help get like younger people involved in into music and stuff like that. So that's the way it rolls. So but yeah, so I just thought, why don't I come live in this shed? Do I live in Hull? Yeah, I live in Hull. I live in Hull, bro. So yeah, I just thought I'd come live in this shed. Where the camera's placed right now is actually where my decks used to be. So my decks actually used to be here. This is the crazy thing. Where you are right now is where my CDJs used to be. I had my vinyl on this lower shelf. So there you go. So crazy. Also, look at this here, my first ever little DJ controller. Do you know what? I'd actually love to get this going again. It'd be wicked. But I think it broke, if I remember right. I did find like the right sort of thing for it. Crazy. And that's the phone. With like proper throws. Anyone there? Ah, we're here. Right. Anyway, people, I can switch the camera around. Look, this is crazy. We've never done like a moving around live stream before. But here we are. Here's the dump shed. Oh, look at that, my old computer mouse. Jesus, look at this. Some Christmas lights up there. Bottle of sun lotion, an old Sky remote. We've got boxes. We've got bags full of junk. A light fitting from in the house because it actually broke. Or like some wiring went dodgy or something. Anyway, there's a little walk around for you. I need to try and turn the camera back round. Ah, here we go. We turned it back round. Yes, right. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you a little story. So I actually, believe it or not, I actually hurt my toe last week. So this is the funny story. So last Sunday, not yesterday, the Sunday before, it was obviously the day after Stomping. So I've been chilling at my mate's all day, and then if I remember right, I got a bus back into town, and I linked with my friend, and we got a drink and stuff, and we popped over to see another friend, I think. Anyway, cut the story short, he drops me off back home, and get back home, and literally no one's in, so I'm just chilling upstairs, and then my mum comes home and she starts talking to me, so I like come downstairs to talk to her so I can hear her, and I get to like the last 3 steps on my stairs, and for whatever reason, I just slipped on something. There was like a bit of junk at the bottom of the stairs. I just slipped, and I hurt my toe quite badly. It was actually quite painful. So I knocked it. It had gone like purplish. It had gone fat. I'd like stubbed it. At the time, I thought maybe I broke it. And then I sort of got rested a little bit, and then I thought, do you know what? Maybe I haven't broke it. So, but it was still very painful. So I was just taking it easy. So I went up, went to bed and stuff, rested it, and then the next morning I woke up. I'd had a bit of a lie-in because I was still tired from the stomping rave at the weekend, and I woke up and my mum had some friends round. So literally, I come downstairs. I'm still hobbling along a bit, and my mum's got some friends round. Now, my pyjama bottoms, the elastic had actually gone in them. So I'm trying to keep them held up. Stop them from falling. I'm still limping a bit because my toe's still very painful. And then, literally, as I get to the bathroom door, I actually trip and slip. And I actually catch my foot, my bad toe. I hitch it on the bathroom door. I like stub it on the door. It gets like caught underneath the door nearly. And you know when you just knock an already painful toe, and I'd never felt pain like it. I just absolutely, I yelled out. I just screamed. I was swearing. So to cut the story short, my toe right now, it still actually is quite painful. Like if I just move it wrong, or if I just knock it, still hurt a bit. It feels a little stiff at times, but other than that, it's actually not that bad. I think it's definitely getting better. Like I went raving 2 nights on the trot this weekend, and like I did manage. Like like I say, it's still painful. And on Friday, a couple of people in a club that accidentally stood on it, but other than that, it was all good. It wasn't too bad. So it still hurts just. Especially if I've been sat for a little bit and then I stand up, like I feel the pain, and then I feel, it feels a bit stiff. But other than that, we're all good. So anyway, people, I'm gonna put this live here. Just thought I'd pop live in the pink shed. So make sure to like, comment, share. Peace out, people. Oh shit.